And let's go on from that to talking about writing them in inversion and how that's going to resolve. So let's say I'm writing the progression 1, 2, 5, 6, 5 to 1. Let's do 4, 6. Okay. So for that in C major, my bass line would be A, B, C, right? Be La Tita. And since the most important thing is going to be this resolution, let's voice this one. We can put this here. We can put the 7th. That. So that sopranos and altos are very close together. And then how I'm going to get there. Something like that. So still, when I'm resolving this, this dominant 7th, I want the 7th to resolve down by step, the 3rd of the chord. The leading tone is already there in the bass line that we've gotten, so that's cool. And then, I could keep the 5th here and put another C in this one. So again, the principle, 7th resolves down by step. Leading tone resolves up to tone. And most of the time when your 5/7 is inversion, you won't even have to worry about doing things like omitting the 5th or frustrating the leading tone or things like that. Now the 5/4/3 chord is more often than not going to function just like a 5/6/4, like a passing 6/4 chord. Remember the passing 6/4? So if I had a 1/6 to a 5/6/4 to a 1, with the bass line going like this, I can also do that same bass line with a 5/4/3. Because it's the same note, it's the 5th of the dominant chord. In this case, it's a dominant 7th chord, but it's still the 5th of it. And that's where you'll encounter this 5/4/3. Most often it'll be some sort of passing function. It could be used maybe just to go like, from here back up to me again or something like that, but more often than not, it's going to be passing. So if we have something like that again, let's voice this different. Put the 7th, let's put it up there. G there. So again, this is, if my 7th is up here, it's going to have to resolve down by step to the 3rd of the chord. The leading tone should resolve up to tonic, and we'll keep the 5th the same. So writing the other stuff before that, I probably want, oops, I don't want that. So here I've got the soprano double with an inner voice. Everything's good.
So is it passing progression?
Yeah, it's kind of like a passing progression. And the 5/4/3 is not as stable or not as important, It's just that that's where the 5/4/3 will most often show up. Not all the time. You could have a 5/4/3 in a sort of normal chord progression used for inversion because that's the bass line that was wanted at that point. But I'm just giving you examples of how to resolve it. And then the 5-4-2 will almost always resolve to a 1-6 because 5-4-2 means the 7th is in the bass. And if the 7th is going to resolve to the 3rd of the chord, then you're going to end up with a tonic triad position. So let's say we go from a 2-6 to a 5-4-2 to a 1. If it's a 5-4-2, the 7th is in the bass, and the 7th is going to resolve down to the 3rd of the tonic triad, then you're going to end up with a tonic triad in first inversion. So let's say we voice this one. So 7th resolving down by step is already in our chord progression. The leading tone resolving up. We could keep the 5th the same, and we could have the tenors just move one note and get to a good chord. And so then before that, we could write this chord. Something like that. And remember, so this is not our first, like this was our first choice doubling the soprano with an inner voice. This is our second choice doubling the bass with an inner voice in a first inversion triad. Remember, triad doubling stuff. But it's still possible. And then here in the 5-4-2, 7th resolves down by step, leading tone resolves up by step to tonic. Perfect. You see how as you do all this, you get kind of locked in, you know, like this must lead to this must lead to this. Just relax and enjoy it, you know. Don't get frustrated or don't get worried like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Enjoy the fact that I've got to resolve the 7th down the step. It just has to be there. And now I'm going to try and resolve the leading tone up to tonic. If I can't, then you might have to think about something else. But the 7th chords are very regular in their resolution. And there's a logic to them. And so if you just follow that logic, it actually makes things easier. Because once you're there, then everything has to go a certain way.